Hi everyone. Yesterday, December 14th, Friday, was my very last day at Cognitive FX. After 4.5 days of exams, tests, exercises, riddles, puzzles, sports activities, it all came to an end for the final test results. I started the day pretty skeptical because I had come to the treatment center, to alleviate my headaches, to improve my concentration and attention, and to fix my insomnia. But by Friday, I didn't feel any of those things had changed. So let's see. The first thing I started out doing was a puzzle, about 50 blocks, different shapes and sizes, and I had to move them from one side to the other and match the specific shape to the specific size. I did that on Monday, and by the end of the week, I was able to do it a minute faster, which I was amazed by because I felt I was so hesitant in putting the pieces in and delayed and frustrated. But according to them, I did it twice, sometimes 3 times faster as most people were able to do by the end of the week. So somewhat encouraging, but I was still skeptical. The next was the eye exam. And I'm going to walk you through side by side the eye exam I had at the beginning of the week compared to the eye exam I had at the end of the week. So first was tracing the dot in a circle. As you can see, I don't do that very well. But by the end of the week, I'm still not a perfect circle, but there's a lot more consistency in my lines, which is great. Next, I had to stare at a point and hold it there. You can see it's pretty scattered, both my right and my left eye. That was the beginning of the week. By Friday, far more concentrated. Not on the dot, but at least it's not scattered. Then I had to trace the dot horizontally and vertically in a straight line. But as you can see, I didn't do that very well. My eyes don't go straight very well. At least they didn't in the beginning of the week, because by Friday, you could see it's a lot straighter. It's following the line. And then finally, I'm supposed to look at a point and then look at the point that flashes at 2 points. I'm supposed to concentrate on this dot here, this target, and I'm not really on that target horizontally nor vertically as I go up and down. You can see by the end of the week, a lot more concentration on the targets, both horizontally and vertically. That's what they said. That's what the data shows. You can sense my skepticism. So the big test, the fMRI, that sees what regions of the brain have above normal blood flow and below normal blood flow. I started the week with a 2.49 difference, standard deviation difference from what is normal, and 4 out of 5 biomarkers that are above the 0.8 score that is normal. Well, by the end of the week, all those exercises, this is what had happened. I decreased my score from a 2.54 out of the red region down to the green region, which is the normal region, 0.54, and decreased the number of biomarkers from 4 to just 2. The attention and the vision region of my brain, 1 and 2, still need work, but the other 2 have improved. Going over each of the exams, this is what I started out with. you could see my emotional, decision-making, executive function region. My judgment is really, the blood flow is way too high. My ability to imagine spatial awareness, dance moves, is too high. My ability to learn new movements is way too low. Here we go. By the end of the week, this means theoretically, I should be able to make decisions better. I should be able to have better judgment and be more under emotional control. This also means that I should theoretically be able to see what I look like dancing in my mind. And this means I have been able to improve my ability to learn how to move better, learn new dance moves. All those things I still have doubts about. I guess we're going to have to see on the dance floor, or if you're around me, and you're going to have to see whether or not I get frustrated easily. The next exam, this region is my ability to track my eyes or control my eye movements. And that was the beginning of the week. That was the major outlier. By the end of the week, it really hasn't changed very much. So I still can't read very well. Beginning of the week, my ability to identify objects, see an object and identify what that is, it's pretty normal in the beginning of the week. So there's not much change. It's more concentrated in the dark purple region here, but that's not very significant because that part of my brain was working properly in the first place. Being able to recognize faces, here, the visual memory, that was pretty low. It was hard for me to take in information, bring the information through the working parts of my brain, and then store it into my long-term memory. This shows after 1 week, I'm able to absorb information better, process it through my working brain better, but my long-term memory still has some work to be done. But according to this scan, there has been significant improvement. And then finally, my ability to remember words that I see on a screen. That's the before. This is the after. You can see some improvement here. Nothing is in the white here. It's hard to see that much of a change because for the most part I was okay. But there are more lines in the dark purple, which is the normal region. And then this here, there's nothing. This is my ability to articulate my words, speak fluidly, not stutter. There's nothing really in the dark purple. Well, some on the edge of it. But here at the end, there's a lot more. So all the tests that have measured what I was, took my baseline at the beginning of the week and then measured if there was any change by the end of the week. All of them indicated that I've improved. So why this skepticism? Because I woke up at 2:45 this morning. I woke up at 12:45 the night before. Throughout the whole week, I've been getting up in the middle of the night. So my insomnia is still there. My headaches are still there, and I don't feel I can concentrate any better than I was able to in the beginning of the week. But I have a better understanding as to why those are. With the insomnia, what this treatment is doing is trying to zero in on other regions of my brain, hoping to alleviate the pressure, the blood flow going into the region of my brain that controls sleep, either direct more blood into it or redirect the blood away from it because it's getting too much. That's their real approach to it. However, obviously, because it hasn't worked that well for sleep, I need to tackle that region of my brain specifically. So they recommended either I read a book about insomnia and they give me exercises to treat insomnia like the exercises that I've done here, or I can see a sleep doctor, a special sleep doctor, which costs a lot of money. That, in addition, the reason why I've really struggled with sleep is because I've been under extreme amounts of stress, and I'm very exhausted from all the activities I've had to do this week. So that hasn't helped me sleep very well this week. Really, a better gauge as to whether or not my insomnia has changed at all will be the weeks following this week, when I'll be resting at home. For my headaches, I understood from the beginning when the visual optometrist or the neuro-optometrist discovered that I have a lot of muscle tension around my lenses in my eyes, that is causing my eyes to strain, and my inability to track properly also causes my eyes to strain. That's mostly the source of my headaches here and here. And that's going to take a lot of visual therapy to overcome that pressure here, to fix it, to help it. They also found out, they did not only an fMRI, but they also did a cervical MRI to scan my neck and see if there was any damage there. And according to that scan, the cervical discs are desiccated. The cervical spine shows reversal of the normal curvature in the upper 2/3 of the cervical spine, meaning the natural curve that my spine is supposed to be in is not. Largely, probably due to being hit by a car and me never addressing that. And because my spine is not in the proper position, the muscles in my neck are constantly pulling on it to try to reposition it. And that tension, that constant tension, is probably what is causing some of the pain I feel in my head. And so I'm going to have to see a chiropractor who's trained in this special, it's not just someone that's going to readjust my neck, but teach me or do physical therapy and teach me some exercises that I can do to stretch my neck to improve its position. So that's going to take a long time. And for the concentration and attention, all the tests say that I've improved that. It's hard for me to see whether or not that has truly improved. But here's the thing. So one of the many great things about this treatment, Cognitive FX, is that they approach concussion therapy, concussion treatment, as a holistic exercise. They want to know how I eat, and they could suggest that, but I already eat pretty well, so they didn't. But other patients, they want to help them improve their diet routine. They give me mindfulness exercises to practice, to help calm my brain and calm my parasympathetic nervous system. They teach me about breathing exercises to balance my fight and flight mode of my nervous system with my rest and recovery part of my nervous system. Because if I'm always in fight and flight, then my muscles are always going to be tense. I'm always going to be on high alert, and I'm going to get neck spasms like I have been getting for the past 10 years. So they teach me how to do that. They teach me all these different cognitive exercises that I can take away with going home. So a lot of you who spend time with me, you'll see me standing on one leg, doing math problems in my head while catching a football or juggling, or doing random Macarena moves on my body. That's all. It's not crazy. I'm not crazy. It's to help override my sensory system so that my neurons could realign to the path that they were originally on prior to my car collision. So not only do they do all these things, but they also treat the mind in the emotional way. I saw a psychotherapist, and I told her something that most of you all don't know. Since I was a child, I had a pretty bad case of OCD, and I was a hypochondriac. And one of the worst things for someone with those conditions, those mental illnesses, is to have cancer and then receive a TBI. Because after that, I was constantly afraid of everything giving me cancer. I was already afraid of that in the beginning, but now even more so now that I already had cancer. And then getting a TBI, I'm always afraid that my brain is going to give out, that it's not going to work. So I'm always pushing my mind to speak properly, I'm always hard on myself making mistakes, because I fear that if I forget where I put something, or forget what I was supposed to say, or forget what I was supposed to do, or forget someone's name, that's a sign that my mind's not working. And I'm really afraid of that. And this psychotherapist recognized that. I put a lot of pressure on myself. That's what I feel has got me through these real near-death experiences, and has brought me here to be able to talk to you, to look like this, to think like this, to be in graduate school, to live to 35. But she was trying to stress to me that something that's as important, if not more important, is an ability to give myself some grace, to be compassionate to myself, to recognize all that I've done, and to appreciate it, so that I don't have to push myself any further. I can say that I've done enough, and I will continue to do things in the future, that I'm going to keep on trying, that I'm not going to give up, but I don't have to, what do they say, white knuckle it, that I can loosen my grip on myself. And rather than holding on to strangling myself, I can hold my hand and walk myself through life, being gentle and caring. And that's my practice. So from now on, I'm going to spend an hour or two every week doing the cognitive exercises that they've given me. And I'm going to start doing visual therapy, and I'm going to start seeing a psychotherapist to help calm or to give me some perspective. I'm going to go see a chiropractor, physical therapist. What else? I think those are the three for now. And that's going to cost a lot more money. And so I'm going to use the surplus from this GoFundMe campaign to direct to all these future treatments, future therapies. So thank you for giving me more than enough so I can continue on this journey to recovery. And when people at this clinic at Cognitive FX heard about what you all have done for me, they were so touched and so moved by all of it. That's why they've been so forward with me recording all this information and giving me all this so that you can be updated by all this. Oh, I forgot to mention. So being a graduate student, reading a lot of scientific articles, and being a person that just is a little suspect of life, I had a lot of hesitations about, I don't feel these results. How do I know that you just didn't put a number on a page and print them out so that I can see that I've improved, but really I haven't changed? And they said, yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people have that. Some people come out of this treatment feeling completely different. Some people don't feel difference at all. And so she showed me a piece of paper that had a chart on it with data that they collected over the years. I wish I took that paper with me. I'm going to ask them to send it to me because it shows trend lines. Patients that have come to Cognitive FX, gone through the treatment, there is a trend of improvement from a high score like mine, 2.49, to a decrease in score. Maybe not necessarily as dramatic as mine, but it's a downward trend. They also did 2 controls. One control was to test patients who came in, took the test, who had a concussion, took the test, didn't do any treatment, and then took the test at the end of the week. And there was no trend. There are people that improved on their own, didn't change at all, or became worse by the end of the week. And there was no pattern. And then the second control was the same test, or the same first 2 exams, 2 scans with the fMRI, but this time with patients that did not have a concussion. And once again, there was no change. Their range of score was much lower than the patients that had concussions, but there was no, some people had an increase in score, some people had a decrease in score, some people had no change at all. Their sample size for patients that had gone through the treatment with concussions, it was a sample size of 1,000 plus. Their sample size for the 2 controls were much smaller, 35, 40. So there's some question there, but it's pretty solid, I would say, to believe these test results. And what I have to do for myself now, the struggle I have is I came to this treatment center feeling that for the past 10 years I have been in the dark. I've had these symptoms and I didn't really know that they were symptoms. I thought that was just me, that I couldn't drive, I couldn't dance, I couldn't do things, multitask. But really, it's because of this concussion that I never was able to heal from. So coming here thinking that I could sprint to the finish line and then be cured of all these symptoms, that's not what ended up happening. So instead of seeing the finish line at the end, I saw a starting line to a marathon. I know this journey will be long, but now instead of being in the dark, I can see the direction I need to be in. And I have a wonderful support network, all of you, and the exercises and the treatments that Cognitive FX have given me are kind of the stepping stones, or the railing now that I can walk to get to that eventual finish line. Thank you for spending the week with me. I'm going to go home. I'm going to rest. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Bye.